liberal college student seems to admit that Charlie Kirk wrecked her.
Why is it that you believe that the will of the majority is not as important as the will of the minority if your issue specifically is the government should represent the people better?
Good question. So we believe in the electoral college. Why? Because Kansas deserves a voice. Because Missouri deserves a voice. And it's the most important way I could distill it is the union we have is the states created it, the federal government didn't create it. So the kind of price of admission is every state gets 2 senators, congressmen based on population, and then electoral votes based on that population. So you kind of get a mix of both. And it's also this tension. And I would ask the question, if we abolished the electoral college, do you think that the needs, wants, and interests of Missouri, Kansas, Iowa, North, South Dakota, Montana would be taken as seriously as New York and California? That would be my question to you.
Do you believe that some citizens are more valuable than others? Because in our current system, some people's votes hold more sway than others, because people in like Wyoming who have smaller populations have more say than places like here in Missouri and Kansas. Why is this acceptable if it's, again, your issue is the will of the people?
Because we're not a democracy. So a democracy is simple majoritarianism. So let me give you an example. In a democracy, by up or down vote, you could say, I want to enslave black people. A constitutional republic says, no, you're going to have to go through a process to do that. So let me ask you a question. Do you think the majority of the will of the people could ever be wrong?
Yes.
Okay. So the founding fathers knew it could almost assuredly be wrong, right? So the system of a republic versus a democracy is it has to be slow and arduous and intentional because it has a preference on liberty, right, not on free stuff. And so over a period of time, how do you best protect liberty? Well, you got to spread over all the representation over space and time, right? So you do it over a lot of states, a lot of square miles, a lot of acreage, and it takes a lot of time to take over the federal government, right? You have to win an election, and then an election, and election. It's not impossible. We eradicated slavery. We gave women the right to vote. So it's possible to get change done. But the founding fathers were less concerned about getting progress done really quickly, and they were more concerned with the government doing bad stuff.
Yeah, she didn't walk into this one, this young girl, because he said, are we a democracy? And what she kept doing was answering his questions with questions. And that just shows that she doesn't really know a whole lot. But as Charlie finally alluded to almost halfway through the video, that we are not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic. And the two things are extremely different. And the liberal coastal elites that just want power, that's why they want to abolish the electoral college. They want it to be all about California, New York, because that is the way they lean ideologically. And that's why I think the Constitution is the most important document ever written for our country. Because our founding fathers did want this sense of labor and intensity and intention within our government. Our founding fathers were brilliant in the way they set up our country. And the electoral college is massively important because people in all 50 states need to have a voice, not just the coastal elites. Could you imagine the world that we would live in? There would be dudes in women's bathrooms and defunding the police, reparations, amnesty for illegal aliens, sanctuary cities. And if you go to any of those places right now, California used to be such an amazing, beautiful place. Even Los Angeles has become completely uninhabitable and decimated. The taxes are completely out of control. So many people are leaving, saying things like, I'm saving $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 a month because of the taxation. So I think that Charlie Kirk's argument here is massively important, that we need a level of intensity and labor to create change in our country. And when we've needed to, we have. He talks about abolishing slavery, giving women the right to vote. And these were massive changes to our founding documents that we had passed, and it wasn't based upon some emotion or whim. It was based upon changes that needed to happen, and it took a lot of people to do it. And Charlie's just always so brilliant, and as you watch more and more of these clips, you just see that he is so well versed on every single topic and so well learned and read. And you know, he doesn't get these questions in advance. He's speaking off the cuff, and that's why he is such an important voice for young people. And we need to get more and more Turning Point USA chapters on high school campuses and in college campuses, because these places are often so overrun with liberal ideology that we need more Charlie Kirks in the world. Too bad hopefully out there we're creating some of them on these college campuses, because he is really a force to be reckoned with. So proud to call him a boss and a friend.